Is cannabis legal within South Africa? Stay watching to find out the answer. Welcome, Andy. How's it going?
Hey, good, dude. Age-old question: is cannabis legal in South Africa? It's so bleak that there is actually a misconception about it, and there is some obviously pros to it, and there's some things that you can't do, and hopefully we'll be able to explain that all to you guys today. Just a quick disclaimer: not legal advice. So just throughout the episode, we obviously we're giving you the best knowledge that we have, but we're treacherying into the legal waters, which isn't our main domain. But yeah, hope you guys learned something today. So Dean, what's the sort of first point on legislation that people are asking you on a day-to-day and that you come across?
Yeah, I think that's an important point. We do get asked this question a lot of the time. There's a couple of years down the line and we still have little to no legislation. So it is a complicated one, but there are some sort of common themes in the space. And the first one is going to be quantity. For a smoker or someone who is wanting to move around with a little bit of personal consumption weed, a lot of the time they're concerned about what kind of quantities you are allowed. And while there's no direct answer to this saying, okay, you can have or no legislation saying you can have this much or an exact quantity. It's basically you're allowed to have as much as you can consume personally. So, a couple 100 grams is going to be fine, but, a couple 100 kilos hidden under your floorboards, that's not going to be fine, So, like, gauging for yourself.
Then it always say things like if it's a kilo that's just like chilling in your pantry versus a kilo that's like wrapped in black plastic bag and then compressed with sellotape around it, it's like it just changes the whole thing. It's like, but like if it's in your car like that, then it's now you're probably over the limit. But if it's in your freezer for storage, now it's fine. So it's like back in the day, then they used to like, I think it's improved now, but you weren't allowed to make a noise. They made like making a noise in a residential area illegal. But that's kind of what they've done with quantity, right? They just say it's illegal, but then they don't say like how loud, how quiet can it be? Like what's the limits here? And they're just kind of going on like whatever their interpretation is on like the quantity if it's not personal use, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem as well, because now it's left open to interpretation. So one cop may deem a kilo too much, and one cop may deem a kilo just the right amount. But as long as you can smoke it all and prove it, then you're pretty much okay. No, Judge, I can smoke 500 bongs in one day. Watch.
Your Honor, may I present Exhibit A? This is the defendant and 1 kilo of weed over a 24-hour time lapse. Please observe.
I suppose the best way would be to film every bong you smoke over a month period, and then have that like into a compilation, and then on that compilation you could attach values and have that all on a spreadsheet, so there it's like locked down. But quantity, once again, all jokes aside,
I was going to say kidding not kidding, that's actually a really good point. We joke now, but like if you have consumption quantities on record, it does help your case. If something were to, if you were ever to have, you come down to it, the police are saying it's a dealable quantity, you're saying it's not a dealable quantity, you literally, like, a journal is probably one of the best, and like written testimonies from like friends and family is probably all you can rely on, like in terms of like how much you could consume. So,
and I remember a conversation with Myrtle actually a couple of years ago on this exact point, and she was saying, keep a ledger of how much weed you're producing for yourself, keep a ledger of how much you're consuming and what happens to it, so that you do have a track record. And that sounds like you're a serious stoner, but also if you're and then you're taking it down to like wanting to get the math. But if you're also a concerned individual and like the paranoia is affecting your consumption, and you're wanting to remain in the right, there are these slight steps you can take, but once again, just don't overdo it. Like produce as much as you need, and if you've got a little bit of additional, maybe turn it into something. Maybe you grew too much this summer for what you're going to smoke. Maybe turn that into a tincture or into an oil of some kind, or extract it. And also if you are extracting, maybe a larger quantity might be okay then. But then you obviously just need to be aware of your extraction consumption. But the quantity point remains a hot issue because, it's the main thing. A lot of the time, it's what people will look at and then deem, okay, yes, this is dealing, or no, it's not. So it is a tricky topic, and it's very frustrating that we don't have much legislation on it. But that open to interpretation remains.
10 kilos of flour looks a hell of a lot worse than 1 kilo of distillate, or like 500 grams of distillate, in terms of interpretation. So it's like a very irritating thing, because like they'll probably take you down for 10 kilos of flour, but if you have like half a jar of like gold, they're probably not going to take you down for that, which is like,
you can just
irritating.
Put honey on the label, just honey, put it in your cupboard, and there it's fine. And it will store nicely, or in your fridge. So yeah, tricky point. But quantity aside, like our main second question, I think Andy can cover this one, and that goes on to sort of the home growing point, and it's the only bit of sort of slight bit of legislation
from the protection is that what it does say very clearly is that you are allowed to grow for personal consumption in your sort of private, as long as it's a private space, you're an adult, and it's for personal consumption, and it's it's not imposing on anyone else's right to privacy and things like that. And that's you're allowed to grow, which is great. You can grow indoors, grow outdoors. It can be pretty much, you have no limit. And like that's where the kind of thing is, like that conjunction with the limit that you say, cool, we can grow, but how much? So it does come back on that. But don't feel afraid of having a plant or two in your garden. You probably shouldn't have like kids around. They did have some proposals that would make if it's your plant and someone's helping, you're paying someone else to because of the Hayes Club judgment. If it's in appeal at the moment, but they actually said no, because they were growing for someone else, that it was illegal, which isn't really part of this episode. But if in that case, because you're growing at home, you probably should be growing it yourself and not having, not paying people to help you with the growing. So that's just sort of one of the more finer technicalities. But that's the home growing. It's great. It's great that we can do that. It's not many countries can.
No, I mean, and it does allow us to explore and to produce our own. But once again, having 10 to 15 plants, and then having to pull a couple out versus having 150 plants, it's completely different stories. So once again, it's just sort of open to your interpretation. I mean, if you're growing tiny little autos, maybe 150 would be justified.
Yeah.
But if you have like 150 trees, then now all of a sudden it's in a different space. So once again, it's unfortunately you've got to interpret it for yourself and look at your usage and sort of how many people are in the house and who's consuming. But once again, it's important to keep careful, and I suppose this could jump us kind of right into our next point, which is the selling aspect. Like, can you actually sell weed in South Africa? And the easy answer for that is no, you can't. A big no. But can you buy weed in South Africa? And the answer to that has changed over time. You now can actually, because THC has been put into Schedule 6, which is the same as sort of a hardcore prescription painkillers and things like that. There has been an allocation allowed for something called a Section 24, which is done via SAPRA, which is it's a medicines body. It is a private company. It's not government owned, but they're issuing something called a Section 24, and these Section 24s have allowed the landscape for the opening of dispensaries. So people who don't want to grow, growing is going to be the best. It's going to be cheaper, especially if you're growing outside, and you're going to be able to produce more quantities for a longer period and be self-sustaining and have complete control. But if that's not all for you and you just want to get medicine because you need medicine for, some sort of proper ailment that you're facing, you do have the option to go to your doctor, to get a prescription, and then to be dispensed to via a Section 24 dispensary, which basically technically is selling. There's an aspect for people to now sell, but you're selling medicine, so you're basically a pharmacy. You're not running a little you're not running a cool little bad shop.
Fine at that point. It's policy. No,
it's a lot of paperwork.
I was just thinking with it's just policy and procedure. It's not a fun way of going about it. But it's good that they have an option there for the people that physically can't grow. You know, like if you have, like, a lot of people just don't give a rat's ass about growing that, you know, they just want to smoke. And like, you know, especially if it's medicine for like a child, or I don't know if they would prescribe that, but like, you know, it's, or for a young adult, and you know, it's, they may be not capable of growing, yeah, they just want to get something. But anyway, I suppose you can sell if you're a medical facility and you're selling to, because like, where, if they dispense this section 18A, they technically, they got to be buying it from somewhere, whereas that's coming from a medically licensed facility, right?
So the section 24, you can't apply for a medical license to cultivate under section 24. You still have to apply for a medical license to cultivate under an offtake agreement. But if you are an existing medical facility that has been able to come online and has received their licensing, you're now able to plug into the section 24 and start to supply the dispensaries. So if I'm honest, I think that's a bunch of BS. Like, you should be able to apply if you're able to, my opinion, if you're able to apply for a license and then to export, but now because you're allowed to export, you have a facility, all of a sudden you're allowed to sell locally. You should technically be able to apply for a section 24 license where you can now grow to supply to section 24, and hopefully we see that come somewhere down the line within South Africa, because it would help the, you know, generate a bit more local a local business. But yeah, you basically the long and the short of it is you can't go about that route, and you would still need to, if you wanted to sell for export, you'd still need to go and apply and go through the SAPA licensing, and then also to you know, get your offtake agreements in place in order to come online.
I think that's literally, they could make the entire, like, they could change the entirety of the cannabis industry if they just changed that, the constitution, just say, yeah, you can grow for personal consumption and sell. That would just be it, you know, that would be it, you know, like the industry would explode overnight like it did in Thailand. It would just bring millions in Canada tourism, millions in infrastructure, and little shops opening up. It's like the one plant that we've always said from the get-go. It's like, if you have very little, you can get hold of seeds, you can cultivate at home. And if you've got a tiny piece of land, or you've got a small space, you can make, you know, you can self-sustain off that alone, or supplement your salary off that if it were, you know, legal. So it's, yeah, just really hope that does come along. You can, though, technicality, gift cannabis, as far as we're aware, which I assume means you can gift, but like, no, not allowed to get anything back, right?
Yeah, so you can gift. I'm not sure of quantities exactly. I mean, in the draft bill, you often see quantities floating around. Nothing's been legislated just yet. But say I want to now gift Andy some bud, and Andy wants to smoke, and I've grown a little bit extra and I don't want it. I could gift it to Andy and give it to him and say, here's your bud. But Andy could not give me anything in return. So you couldn't now go give me a tennis racket and be like, here's a tennis racket, because that would be considered a trade and that would make it illegal. You couldn't go do like free work for me or some shit, you know, because that would now be considered illegal. But if I just gave you the bud,
very hard to catch.
Story. Yeah. But yeah, hard to prove. But just so you know, we are exploring all the angles over here. But so nothing can change hand back towards me. But I could give Andy bad and say, this is your bad now, and that would still be legal. You know, I wouldn't be breaking anything, but there could be no return reciprocal to me for that specific transaction. So I couldn't. Andy couldn't give me anything back for the specific 50 grams of bud, which I now gave to him as a gift, like a birthday present. You know, you don't expect something back when it's someone's birthday.
100%. We would love to guys hear what you guys think. If you're in a country where it's legal, if you're in a country where it's illegal, obviously just leave us a little comment below. We make sure to reply to pretty much all of the comments, so it'll be cool to hear from you guys. Don't make fun of us if it sounds like we're coming from the prehistoric ages. If you're in one of those countries where it's legal already, we are fighting our best fights to get there, but some people just aren't as ready for it as other countries. Super bleak. I know people always say, oh, you know, this is what we were fighting in, you know, 2017 or 2015, you know, ages ago. So anyway, bleak on that front, but we always appreciate you guys listening and watching to the end. Make sure you have a great week, and until next time, peace guys.